Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fear to Freedom, one story at a time. What if the very beliefs that once held you back are the keys to unlocking your true potential, waiting to be released so you can finally create the life you were always meant to live? I'm Coach Cory Thorell. I'm a transformational coach, a neuro-linguistic programming practitioner, and I do a lot of work helping people return to the very power of who they really are. But what if by listening, you are already beginning to release the fears that have held you back by stepping into the freedom that's been within your reach the whole time? Each story here shows that your breakthrough isn't just possible, it's inevitable. And what if the thoughts you've had and held on to um, are now ready to shift, opening the door to the life that you've always wanted? Real freedom begins when you realize the beliefs that once limited you no longer define your future. I'm here to help those halfway through life who feel stuck and disconnected break free from limiting beliefs, recover clarity, and embrace the future with purpose. Once again, my name is Cory Thorell, and I am joined today. It is my honor and privilege to be here with Natalie Lamb. Natalie, come on in here. Natalie is a life relationship grief coach. We met a couple of weeks ago, jumped on the phone, started talking, and next thing you know, I think we might be siblings. Natalie, say hello, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Thanks again for having me, Cory.
My pleasure. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I am, as a profession, a life relationship and grief coach. I've been doing this for almost 30 years, and it has been a journey of learning people, of honoring lives, of honoring people's story, of helping people get to their greatest potential, right? Going through all of the stuff that we tend to have to go through to get to potential, and realize the fact that we all get to go through the journey. We all get to not know how to get through the journey, but assist others, right, to get to the other side of it. Um, Doing parenting classes, started, jumped into marriage, jumped into personal development, led to my mom passed away, is how I got into grief 22 years ago. And it's just been a journey of living, right? Of finding out um, what do we want, right? And then why do we want it? And then how do we get it? And knowing our greatest purpose is really just the joy of becoming fully aware of being ourselves and appreciating the gift of being just me. Yeah.
You, I love that you claimed the journey here of knowing what you want, knowing why you want it, and then figuring out how to get it. And in the best of situations, the best of circumstances, that can be a puzzle all by itself. I mean, even with all the support in the world, without maybe even having some good examples about how to dream forward, you
Yeah.
know, dreaming forward, okay, like one of the phrases I use a lot is what could possibly be more important than dreaming about your future?
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the most important things that engage the daydream, which in my mind, the daydream is we access our creativity, our imagination, our intuition. One step above that, our connection to source, God, creator. That infinite wisdom, the
Yeah.
field of knowledge, the Akashic records, those kinds of things. Every single human has this chain of inspiration above us. No matter what religion or spirituality or lack of it, wherever you are in the world, every single human has this chain of inspiration above us. But then in the best of situations, we're in a world where we're literally taught not to daydream about the future,
Yeah.
you know, and then all of a sudden life gets hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we're
Yeah.
still on this, and that is the savior. That's the medicine path.
Right.
The
Right.
obstacle is the
Right.
path. But once again, without this training, without this knowledge, how do you even know to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I think
And
we're
give
talking,
yourself permission to.
oh man, for sure. Especially
Yeah. Yeah.
when you come from a world where you had no permission or no good examples of it, even visible or real to you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we're talking
Yeah.
like I named this podcast The Journey from Fear to Freedom because I think that's something that every single one of us does a million
Mm-hmm.
times in our life. From a little tiny thing from I'm
Yeah.
walking down the street and something gives me the cold chills and I know not to go down, take that left turn.
That's true.
I
Yeah,
take a
yeah,
right
yeah.
turn. My intuition, something said, protect yourself. Okay, whoa, what is that?
Right, right, right.
But there's also like the real definition of fear, which is like if you're in immediate danger, then all of a sudden our kinesiology, our body awareness, our spiritual awareness, all five of our senses turns on gigantically, and we download
Right.
information quickly. So that all of a sudden, if you've never climbed a tree, but if there's a bear chasing you, you are at the top of that tree.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
how did I
yeah.
get here?
Right.
And so I'm kind of setting up our conversation a little bit because I think what's going on in our culture today is that so many of us in the world are normalizing the abnormal state of being in fear.
Hmm.
We're existing in it 100% of the time. And when we normalize the abnormal, we don't know we're doing it.
Yep,
And there's a
yep.
lot of science, even just kinesiology, like our body chemistry. There's that first 10 minutes of adrenaline, you get frightened, and that's what gets you up that tree. And then
Hmm.
long, slow back down for your body to rebalance itself.
Right, right.
That takes 4 to 5 hours to rebalance
Hmm.
itself. But if we kind of rise up and then exist at this level, we're draining our resources.
Absolutely.
And then
Yeah,
we wonder why we're anxious, we're exhausted, we're suffering from within. And we don't even know we're doing that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I thought I'd start there a little bit because I know that you've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this not nearly as long as you, but I think we're both here to serve.
yeah,
We have a lot of our own story, and I'm experiencing some really beautiful things in my life. I know you are too, but it's because we've had some tools.
yeah,
And because of the tools, we've been aware that it's okay not to be okay.
yeah,
And then,
absolutely.
then it's okay to get vulnerable and actually do the work of fear. Because if
Yeah,
it's not an
yeah.
immediate danger, like a saber-toothed tiger eating your belly, well, then fear, uncertainty, and doubt become a different set of tools. And I think
Hmm.
that they're necessary tools. I think they're tools. Actually, I think fear. This is a. I was doing one of these interviews last week, and the phrase came
Hmm.
out. What if fear was your number one knight in shining armor? Oh my gosh, what does that mean if you're terrified? How
Yeah,
could that
yeah.
be? How could that even be? And so I want to just pass the feather to you now that I've planted a couple of seeds in our conversation today.
Well, I mean, fear has been such a big part of my journey. And sometimes we're so unaware of what is hounding us because we don't have awareness of what it is. But I remember the whole journey, right? You go back to when I was a child, I always lived in the phrase of what is meant to be will be, right? And this is me 7, 8 years old, right? Never really that moved by a whole lot, just really observing, taking life as it comes, being present in it, but not expecting anything, I guess, out of the ordinary. And if it did come, then somehow I'll be prepared to tackle it. Where I got that from, I don't know. But that was just like how I lived, right? Unfortunately, other events came in, right? And my husband, who I've been with since I was 16, met at 15, been with him since I was 16. But in the first year of us being together, his little sister passed away at 4 from a tragic accident, right? And I did not recognize how much that changed my worldview. Um, but it changed my worldview in a way that then other things kept happening, right? Other deaths around me. Fast forward, we get married 5, 6 years later. His mom passes away as well, right? She got cancer, passes away. And in that was when I recognized, oh, and I was raised very much so in Christianity. My parents had a church and all of that. So very much so a believer of God and the power of prayer. And I remember driving in my car and saying, this is not worth praying for because God's going to do what he wants to do. And in that, I shifted, right? It was this shift, but not recognizing, again, I'm like 22, maybe, not really fully recognizing what has happened to me and going on with me. You fast forward, and then my mom passes away, right? And that was the shift that broke everything open for me. That I then moved into this place of like literally dwelling in fear. Okay. Like it consumed me, wasn't sleeping, afraid I was going to get sick, afraid I was going to die. My daughter was only like 18 months. I'm going to leave her behind. Just, it was just like this plethora of things. Um, and then as I started, and me and God had to come together after she passed away, what we're going to do together. Like, I know who you are. I do believe in you, but something about this timeline doesn't fit for me. Who I thought you were is blowing my mind right now. Because if
Yeah.
you were the God of love, how could you, right, do this to me? And my journey, which I'm grateful for, led me deeper into God, right, which led me deeper into myself. And as
Can
I
I interrupt
went
you?
deeper,
Can I interrupt you? I want to catch
yes, you
something here.
can.
I want to
Go
grab
ahead.
something here because all of a sudden you talked about you've lost some close people, some parents, a child, some death happened in your world, which installed some greater questions regarding your faith and spirituality, your connection to something greater than you. And all of a sudden, we see the world through a different set of lenses. Like all of a sudden,
Yeah.
it's got different glasses. Like, whoa, wait, how did I get here? Let's
Yeah.
just reach in and capture that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's take a second and jump back into that part of you, that old version of you, and let's
Yeah.
claim those emotions. What was
Oh,
that?
absolutely.
Let's
Oh,
decorate that for us.
okay. I can definitely do that. In the moment that it's occurring, it's the amount of fear that takes your breath away, that stops your brain from really working. To
Yeah.
be honest with you, it stops your brain from working. And all you're trying to do is protect yourself. You're protecting yourself, though, from the illusion of everything that's around you, but it feels very tangible, right? It's not
Visceral.
real. Yes, but it's
Yeah.
sitting right in your lap. So it's like, how do I deal with this invisible thing that's in my lap that I believe is coming to attack me? It's
Yeah.
coming to strip something else from me, but I can't see it, touch it, feel it. So a part of my brain is saying, this isn't real, right? The other part of my brain is saying, you better protect yourself because if you don't, you're going to crumble,
Yeah.
right? And as being in such a vulnerable place of already feeling like you don't have anything to catch you, like everything has, you're just free falling and you don't see the bottom. You don't see a soft place to fall. Where all my life I could see a soft place, even
Mm.
amongst everything else. But with my mother's death, it was like there is no soft space anymore. That
Yeah.
is gone. And so, the every night up, like literally every night up, right? I would not sleep. I would just brain on 55, right? It would not stop. And it was taking a toll on my health, right? Because of course, when this happens, it's not just your brain that's active, right? It's your body, it's your spirit, it's your soul. Everything is so connected together. So you're disoriented trying to be oriented, right? Because I have a kid I have to take care of, and she was my everything at the moment of saying I got to get it together for her, right?
Yeah.
But with that, we never can really get it together for someone else. It always has to be ourselves. And
Right.
so, right? And so that dive into what is it? And that's what my first task was, what is this?
What is this? You're
What
like,
is
oh,
this?
like, okay, so let's talk a little bit about okay, when we're afraid like that, and we've normalized the abnormal. Now we're living in it
Yeah.
every single day. And I think you claimed a couple of things that are so real in this experience for all of us is that when we are concerned, and sometimes we can be positively concerned. This works in the other direction. Like when you're super attracted to somebody, that all of a sudden you also
Yeah.
use our resources in a similar way, but in this fearful way. Now I'm in protection and boundaries, and now I'm spending all of my resources, my time, my energy, my attention, and our money on this protection and
Yeah.
boundary. And like I love this thing, the definition of anxiety is investing your resources in an unwanted outcome.
Mm.
whoa, because there's nothing filling the
That's
well.
good. Yeah,
There's
yeah,
nothing
yeah, yeah,
coming
yeah.
back. And then all of a
Yep.
sudden, the well goes down, the anxiety goes up, and now we're in this endless loop that takes the fear and blows it off the map.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so it's, as we're taking a moment to say, okay, you've been there, I've been there. A lot of people we know are there now. A lot of people out in the audience right now are there right now.
Right.
So let's just give a little magic to those folks right now. Just say, okay, we hear you, we see you,
Yeah.
and but is an immediate elixir to anxiety. I also want to claim the other side of that coin is something that will start to fill your well now is
Mm-hmm.
anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
Anticipation, what it does is all of a sudden we start investing our resources in a desired outcome. And now this is where we start
Mm-hmm.
future pacing, dreaming about the future. How good can you make it? This is when our daydream looks at the solution for today. And that little solution for day gives us a little bit of confidence to create a little bit bigger of a solution for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or we stay the course, the bigger it gets.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
bigger it gets. So from that place of crippling fear, where we lose it all. And
Yeah.
sometimes that's the very thing we came to do, but we don't know.
Absolutely.
There's something we're releasing something, but I
Yeah.
also believe that fear is proof of ignorance, not in a bad way,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
Mm-hmm.
proof that you're being faced with something you don't have information for. And so that's part of that. Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
need,
Yeah.
so there's that. So now if you're not having a tiger eat your belly, and there's that download of, oh my God, I don't have what I need, then we start to search for it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that part.
Yeah. Yeah. So the searching is the gift, right? To get to the space where you realize I don't want to stay here. And that's what for me, the first step really was is that I don't want to stay here. I can't keep at this pace. This is not serving me well. And it's not serving anyone around me well. So what is the solution? Like, how do I get to? And I didn't have a two to get to, right? Mine was really just, I didn't want to be here. So how do I get from being here? And it was that process of as I said before, me diving into God, right? The God of the scriptures is what I believe in, and then diving into me because the two cannot be separated. And so when I'm looking for the understanding of the bigger picture of who God is, right? In the most massive way that I think we sometimes make God a little too small. So I needed him to be really, really big, right? I needed him to be the God of this universe, the creator of it all, that could aid me in a space that I have no tools or ability to get out of, but I know I can learn them, right? And so in me looking for him, he guided me back to me for me to see where it was, for me to make all the connections that I needed to make, and for me to create like a resistance plan up against what I were going to battle because I had been in for so long that it was not going to happen overnight. It wasn't going to be an epiphany, right? And sometimes I think we cheapen the process when we think one epiphany is going to be our escape from it all, or it is going to give us all the answers. There's so many that have to happen along the way. The one opens you up, but if you stay with just the one and you think that's it, you won't keep searching for all the others that are out there for you to blow your mind, right? And through that process, I have had so many epiphanies. I have had so many life changing moments that molded me and guided me and helped me to see. Um, as I was saying that I've done this for a long time, I once my mom passed, I started my own business, right? Before I was doing everything really through with my parents through the church. And I started my own business. That was like my throwing out me growing up, right? Because it's nice to have the support of, even though I'm grown, married with a kid, I still had them as a great support for me. So it was like she's gone, though I still connect to my dad. The church is still there, but she was my person, right? Um, So I was like, I gotta grow up. I gotta gotta have something that's mine. And that's why I created the business of It's Your Choice. And the It's Your Choice is what resonated me. I'm literally driving home. I did a mediation course. Um, and I'm like, I could do this. Like, this is me in my life. And I have these tools. And I've been doing this for a long time, right? At that time, it was probably like close to 10 years, right? And I'm like, okay, you can do this. And it was like me getting a little more confidence in the journey, right? And saying that you have put the work in, you do see, you know the gift you have, right? So let's broaden it. But it was like, it's all in choices. And that was like such a pivotal moment for me to recognize that my life is the creation of my choices. And that anytime I want to pivot, I just choose differently. And
Yep.
I was like, oh, wow, okay. I got power? Yeah, this is beautiful. Okay. So, in that, it's owning the power, right? It's owning the choices so
Yeah.
that if I make a bad choice, which of course we're going to do, I get to own it, look at it, dissect it, why, how, when. And then I can say that part didn't fit. Now let's put another one on there.
Absolutely. Oh my
Right,
gosh.
right. So
Yeah.
I'm real practical in the way I approach life, and even with my clients, I like to get rid of all the stuff and get down to the brass knuckles of things. Because once we get there, then we can start putting the pretty paper on. But first, we've got to get to, right, just the basics of who we are, why we are. Why is such a great question, isn't it? It's like the question that gives you so many answers. But after you ask that why, then it is how will I know I got this, right? So it's
Right.
it's formulating this whole thing. And I think going back to what you were saying about daydreaming, I think we don't put enough resources in creation, right? We are
Oh, true.
so into the formula of what we've been handed. You do this, you do that, it looks like this, you're supposed to get this outcome. And then we're all running the same rat race to get where, right?
Exactly. And so here's the
Yeah,
moment. Fear that an invitation to stop in your tracks and see a bigger
yeah,
picture.
yes,
Oh, is that what
yes.
it is? Oh, that's what's happening when we're afraid. We're our spirit's knocking at the door in such a way that you can stop and see a much bigger quickly.
My,
Often quickly it was like, oh, look how big it is.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
then that
yeah,
uncertainty piece, which also without some knowledge around it or good examples, that's the search. It's also crippling until, okay, so spirit stopped me in my tracks, and now all of a sudden there is a menu of choice in front of me. You were
absolutely.
talking a little bit in your words, but in my practice, I call it sparking.
Mm,
What spark? What is it that all of a sudden you went zoinks? What's catching your attention? And
yeah.
in a crippling fear moment, it might not be a spark, but it might be an easier path than the one you're on. Like
Hmm.
all of a sudden, there's a breath of fresh air. All of a sudden,
Yeah,
there is a pause when you can like put your feet on the ground and
yeah,
feel the wind on your
yeah,
face and remember that there's
yeah.
a tiger eating your belly right now. But in that search, okay, okay, now I'm actually going to read the menu. And then maybe
Yeah,
then we get to the point when I realize that I get to write the menu that I
yeah,
make my choices from. So many of
yeah,
us think, I've used this metaphor a lot, is that we're stuck on the appetizer page and we always order the same thing. We don't even think to order something different, let alone
yeah.
like, whoa, there's main courses, there's sides, there's a chef
Right.
that will make you a custom order. So how good are you at asking?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and okay, well, now that's the realization. I remember when this was happening for me, when I was stuck and I was challenged by my community and my job, and I'd lost my spirit because I was told I was too big, too much, too bright, dim your light, Cory, to fit in, which means I gave my magic away. I gave my power away.
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
Mm-hmm.
on that journey into descent, my spirit was saying, Cory, this is not the right place for you. And I got sick.
Uh,
Really, I got sick
yeah.
enough when I was like, okay, It's time to
Nah, we ain't doing this. Yeah, yeah,
that put me into a search mode of where am I sparking and where am I going to challenge the illusion or the collusion of my ecology because I was
mm-hmm,
evolving out of it. I was
yeah.
spiritually evolving out and above the people that were nearest me. This is not a bad thing.
No, it's
You
not.
know,
It's a beautiful
but
thing.
the law of vibration, the law of resonance means that all of a sudden that discord, we were having discord because we were not vibrating together, which means we're going to be
Yeah,
each other apart. But without that piece of knowledge, the discord, I need you, I want to fit in, I want to belong. This is my job, it's my community, it's
yeah,
my spouse, it's my family, it's my community. But all of a sudden,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and without
yeah.
all that knowledge, that part of your search and their discord is that you're growing and you're expanding.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, how great would
Yeah.
it be to have some people right near us to say, oh, that's what you're doing.
Go for that. Yeah.
Oh, so you're totally freaked out right now? Is that all it is? Oh, go for it. We got you.
Yeah, yeah, it would have been a beautiful thing, but as we know, we went on this searching journey, and you almost go single-handedly, right? It's like you were pivoting the space of creating because you need to create, right?
Yeah.
And for me, that's what it was. It was I have outgrown this space, right?
Mhm.
Um, like my parents started the church when I was 7 years old, right? So it has been my entire life, my entire world. Um, Loved it, was devoted to it as much as them almost, right? Because it wasn't seen as a burden for me. It was seen as a beauty that these two people were such beautiful lights that they want to give that light to somebody else, right? And that's really how they moved in it. And they were beautiful. They were amazing people, which I was gifted to have as my parents, right? To see people
Mhm.
give to that
Mhm.
level of beauty and being so devoted and full of faith that no matter what they were going to do it. So it was this weird space though, because I'm in this journey, search, grieving, right? All of this together, and I couldn't do it there. So I was, for the first time in my life, I'm like, this doesn't fit anymore. This is me and God are doing something that's so solitary for us, right? And it was just solitude that I was really drawn to. So I didn't go to church for like 2 years, okay, which was devastating for my father, because we did this together. And I still did the counseling, coaching, everything that I did there. I never stopped that, but the services and all of that, I just needed a break from the routine. I needed a break from the people who trying to help me, not helping me, right? And as I'm diving more into God, I'm like, I'm seeing him differently. It's clicking differently. It was this epiphany of his beauty and enormity. And I started with God with, I'm getting rid of everything I thought I knew about you, and I need you to teach me, right? Um, if anybody has been in like organized Christian religion, that's not something we generally do. So you're stepping in this space of saying, you and God, we're doing this together, right? Almost like a Job moment of, come on, God, show me who you are. And if you're real, then prove it to me, right? And it was that much arrogance, but not at the time arrogance. It was that much pain. It was that much vulnerability. It was that
Yeah.
much loss, right? That I'm like, I need you because I do believe you were my source, but I'm sourcing out, right? It's not vibing
Yep.
right the way I needed to. So with that, I said, I'm sure other people would like to know this God that I'm finding. So I started, me and my husband, because he was on his own journey, because of course life was happening to him too, but all he had way more loss than I had as far as personal. And I'm like, hun, let's do this. Like, let's just do. And it was like Saturdays, once a month, we would get together. I'm like, look, guys, this is what I found. But in that community that I created is where I was the most raw, the most vulnerable.
Yes.
Everybody walked with me through my journey
Mhm.
of fear
Let's
because
grab
I
that.
opened it up.
Ooh, let's grab that moment because I love this so much because the sparking, the search, the inspiration, like, ooh, that feels good. Oh, I just gained some understanding. I was able to shed a
Yeah.
layer of my old
Yes.
self that it was now too heavy to carry so that I can expand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love the
Yeah.
word threshing. Do you know this word, threshing?
Yes. Yes.
Where just like a kernel of wheat, we must shed that external layer that once protected us, that's now too
Hmm.
heavy to carry. And like, say, forget like the metaphor of the jacket that you had your first kiss in.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
love that jacket. We did everything. We went everywhere. But now that very jacket is keeping you, and every
Yeah.
doorway has the bottom board, the threshold from the same root of the same word. The gate doesn't open on that door for you unless you do your threshing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's that vulnerable moment of, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I'm letting you go. Oh, well, but I'm sentimental, but I'm brave, but it's in the way. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
finally say yes to something more.
Yes.
I can no longer
Yes.
carry that because I'm making myself available. I'm making room for my
Hmm.
next learning opportunity, my next growth moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then,
Yeah.
now fear, uncertainty, the search. Now there's an aha moment.
Hmm.
There's the door. Oh, and in order for the door to open, I've got to do a little work. We do the work and we take that gulp. When you just said, like, with your husband, come on, honey, let's do this. Okay. Oh boy. Right? Then we
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
so then,
Yeah.
then the fear, uncertainty, doubt, there it is. And I love to redefine doubt as understanding your capability and
Hmm.
saying and claiming a radical yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I'm going to pass the feather back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. And so it was that of inviting others to be vulnerable. But I had to be like, I had to do it for them, right? And it was a beautiful thing of recognizing that there's so much power in you just being you and owning wherever you are. So my journey through, because I'm still dealing with the fear, right? I'm still finding my resistance pattern through this as I go. So it was this opening of, hey, what are you guys going through? Hey, let's sit down together and talk this out, work this out, journey this together, right? And I used to always tell my clients in that space, I'm just two steps ahead of you. Like literally, I just got this, and I'm just telling you to come with me. I'm no guru. I'm no I got it all
Hey,
together. I'm none of that, right? I am just two steps ahead of you, and let's walk this. And I don't know what's in front of us. I don't know where we're gonna get. I don't know what even the destiny is, right? I just know that we gotta move and we gotta keep going. And there was a lot of turmoil around it, right? It was me and my father kind of disconnected through it because I'm breaking the chain of how it was. Um, and all of that. And that took us kind of years to get back to ourselves, back connected again. But I wouldn't change it, right? And my dad's gone now in 2021, but I would not change the journey of that because I would not be me with the ability to be me, right? With all of the bruises and all of the scars and all of the love and all of the passion and being able to face new fears, right? Because the fears, as we know, don't stop. My fear was like my best friend, really. She carried me through a whole lot. And so I don't disparage her at all. She has been welcome into my world. And now when fear arises, we have a conversation about, well, what's going on? What are you afraid of? What do you think the worst case scenario is going to be? Let's work this together because I got so many resources within me now that I can almost guarantee you that whatever you bring to me, we can figure this out together. And
yeah,
she calms down, right? She gets quiet. She trusts me now. And a part of that is learning like all the little parts in us have a place to stay and play a role in who we are and how we got here. And in me embracing the totality of all of me in all of the creations of me, right?
Yeah.
Um, is to appreciate that I got to do this with all of me, and that you get to go now to this next phase. And the phase is as life goes on, because the journey doesn't end, and I have no idea what's coming. Life shocks me all the time, right? Like I live in a shock space all the
Yeah.
time. I don't know what's gonna come, but I do know that I have my God, and I have resources
Mhm.
that carry me, so that when fear comes, I can look at her and say, hey, let's deal with this. Able to separate also. We talked about that kind of earlier, and we talked knowing the separation between real fear and fake fear, right? The real fears, there are real things we have to be afraid of. And that
Yeah.
I don't want to shut off all fear, because then I put myself in a space where maybe I need to protect myself, right? I'm walking to the car and someone's following me. I need my fear to jump up and say, get in that car fast or run in the other direction, right? So
Yeah.
there's a gift in fear. It's just not overusing it and not
Yeah.
abusing it, but seeing that as a gift to help us create, right? And
Yeah.
tapping into the intuition, because intuition is going to tell us that alarm system that's within us, honor it. Like, anybody out there that you have been taught not to honor it,
Yeah.
honor it. Like,
Honor.
she has so much information that we have discarded over the years, right? Since childhood, they've been screaming at us saying, pay attention, look over here, don't trust that person, get away, this is not safe for you. And we quiet it, because maybe it'll make us a little radical.
Yeah.
Maybe it makes us seem like we're stepping out because we don't have facts to go with the intuition. But sometimes when we wait for the facts, we are already in danger. So
Right.
sometimes, our world teaches us go to the facts, get it, get it, get it. But intuition says, I'm aware of, I'm above this, I'm above sometimes the facts. That
Yeah.
this is just me and spirit and guidance telling me
Mhm.
this is not good for you.
Right. So,
And the
there's,
courage, yeah,
yeah. So, oh my gosh, you've just dropped about a landmine, a whole bucket of golden nuggets. And so I want to go back a little bit because you said, when we go through fear, uncertainty, doubt, there's that radical yes, there's inspiration. We're saying yes to a new path, which is scary. And it's whoa, I've never done this before. That's a different kind of
yeah,
fear.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's a
yeah,
I'm putting my first foot forward fear. That's not a crippling fear. That's a I'm walking
yeah,
weak fear.
yes, yes,
And so incorporating and getting to know all parts of ourselves. You said this a minute ago. It's like embracing all parts of myself. And
yeah,
I think one of the things I've seen in some healing and some of the ideas behind healing, maybe therapies or the ignorant experiences of why we need therapy is we've tried to remove
mm,
fear, uncertainty, doubt, like take it out of the equation, make it disappear. And then there's a sense of failing because that's an impossible thing to do.
yeah,
Fear, fear is one of the amazing tools in our tool belt. In our emotional intelligence, fear is there for a reason.
hmm,
So, like once again, there's that conscious first foot forward into the realm of the unknown. Like, okay, now I'm awake in this world,
yeah, yeah,
and wow, I'm gonna and I come from a world of show business and theater, stage fright. Like
mm,
just before you make an entrance from the wings,
yeah,
be on stage in front of the audience. I love that the phrase break a leg. Everybody knows this phrase in show business as good luck, but a lot of
mm.
people don't understand what it really means. Like, do you know what break a leg means?
No, no.
So you're looking at the theater from the audience, and there's the box, the picture frame of the stage, and then there's the proscenium on the top and the walls on the side, and then the legs are the curtains or the entrances along the side of the
Mm.
wall. And so those are the legs. And so break a leg means take a breath and make an entrance.
Oh, wow. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Break a leg means grab that energy and put your foot forward and use that fear, that stage fright, that awareness to be in the present moment,
Mm-hmm.
to use fear for the tool it was designed to be. It's not just to save
Yeah.
life in a dark area in New York City one night. We use it all the time.
All
So
the time.
in this journey, like why I've created this podcast is okay, let's redefine fear, uncertainty, and doubt as the knight in shining armor. Because those things are going to say, hold on, you're
Yeah.
on a path, you're moving fast. I also hear what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to get there, we've got to slow down and we've got some work to do. And
Yeah.
usually that's dream work. We've got some dream work to do. Because maybe we had a target and we're on our way there, spirit, God, creator, source, whatever we want to call that, depending on where you come from. And then here's your ask about the solution or the desire you're
Mm-hmm.
after. And always, doesn't matter the medicine path, the spiritual path, when we put a dream out into the world, the very first thing that happens, spirit, source, or creator goes, oh, that's what you want? Okay, we can do that, but here's what's in the way.
Yep.
The obstacle is the path.
Yep.
So but often we were like, okay, all my dreams just got shattered. I'm a failure. I don't deserve it. I'm not worthy. I'm not capable. I'm not enough. I'm not capable. I don't get to. And then there's the opportunity.
Yeah.
Which road do you take? Do you take
Yeah.
the right? Do you step to the right and loop into the victimhood circle that you've been in for a long time because we know how? We've done it
Mm-hmm.
a million times. We're going to do it again. I'm going to suffer because it's
Yeah.
familiar. What? I'm going to suffer because I know how? Yeah, because we're going to get some dopamine and we're going to get some serotonin. There's some survival skills, and every single one of us is addicted to our own brain chemicals.
Yeah.
But when we take that step to the left, when we do our threshing and we finally put down that thing that was holding us back, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve it. And then also we take that step to the left, and then we get a massive dose of serotonin and dopamine,
Mm-hmm.
just like jumping out of an airplane. People pay thousands of dollars to have that same experience, or face your fear
Right.
and do it anyway. So there's a little bit of that, like okay,
Yeah.
science, there's some epigenetics, there's a lot of neuroplasticity in our conversation about spirituality and connecting to our own divine self.
Yeah.
So I love that. One of my passions about the work that we do, Natalie, especially in this age now, 2024, is that spirituality and science are now coming together and going,
Mm-hmm.
we're telling the same story. We're coming together. We're telling the same story. We're actually telling the
Yeah.
same story from different philosophies, different points of view, different perspectives, different fields of knowledge, industry
Right.
research are now coming into this place and now that we all have this magical, you know,
Right.
connection to source in our pocket, hold on, consult the oracle and say, I have an idea and I'm going to check it.
Yeah.
Because now we can say, I have the proof to keep dreaming gigantically.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then there's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
moment of doubt where we say, I'm capable. And I've done some research in my uncertainty. I did a bunch, now I have a pocket full of tools. And now there's that radical yes to say, I can't not do it.
Yeah.
I can't not.
Yeah. But you know what, that where it steps in is the courage and bravery that is required to step into your dream.
Yeah.
Like you could see it, you could formulate it, you could understand it, but it requires you having courage and bravery that you say that even if I'm a little afraid, even if I'm uncertain, that I'm going to walk this path, even if I'm walking it alone, right? Because I believe in it, I believe in me, I believe in more. But it is a push that you have to give yourself
Yeah.
to really go forward and go into it. And I think courage and bravery is something that we don't really talk about a lot anymore. That the requirements that are needed to create a better life, to become different, to step out of the norm of what we've been conditioned to do, takes you taking those extra steps. and to hold on to it, right? Because sometimes we can do the first ones and it's like, and no one's behind me, no one's cheering me on. I don't know what's
Safety
behind
nets.
that door. Right, right, right. All of that stuff, right? So you
Uh-huh.
have to keep, fueling yourself with courage and bravery at all stops, right? And even when it's a lull and everything is beautiful, because we get the breaks, right? Like, don't always be moving. Also embrace the slow moments. Embrace when you're living, and we talked about this before we went on, living in the answered prayer, right? Where
Yeah.
you can look around and say, God, look what I created, right? Look what I'm living in. Look what how my mindset is different. Like sometimes if we don't pay attention, even in this work of creating and moving, we don't stop and see the creation. We are not aware of what we're living in and the power that was just handed to us to be in something different. So pause a lot, right? Through your journey as you're going, don't just go. Like really stop. And I need to stop and smell the roses, but stop and look and see it again and re-envision yourself again. If we're blessed enough, we'll walk out of here in this life being many different people, right? And we'll keep creating different ways of being, different ideologies, different principles, different movements, different things that matter. Because as you age, the stuff in the early years don't matter as much as when you get to the older years. You see life differently, right? But give yourself the beauty of to keep undressing and dressing and undressing.
Yeah.
It's such a joy to allow yourself and give yourself permission to change
Yeah. So
and
much
not
of
be
this work.
beholden to one thing.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, no, it's fine.
So much of this work, in these conversations I've been having now and the research I've been doing about fear, uncertainty, and doubt, of course, bravery comes up. And I love to look at bravery. This is, and I think I first started thinking about this because of the work of Brene Brown. Give a little shout out to
Mm,
Brene Brown, um,
yeah.
and understanding that bravery and vulnerability are the same thing. You
Mm-hmm.
can't be brave without being vulnerable. You can't be vulnerable without being brave.
Yep.
And so there's an opportunity like to redefine the way that we think about some of these things, like redefining
Mm-hmm.
fear as proof that you're having a growth opportunity that you don't have information for. You get to learn.
Yeah.
Uncertainty as, okay, I'm on the search. So I'm going to read, I'm going to take a course, I'm going to read a book, I'm going to do a thing. And then there's going to be an aha moment of, oh my God, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
The moment we switchcraft from what we're running away from
Mm-hmm.
to what we're running toward. Now,
Yeah.
that is the healing moment that happens in the uncertainty. And then we get to the doubt that says, "Oh my God, that's amazing, but do I get to? Is that
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
do I really get to?" And then once again, we claim our capability. If we don't have any capability, we're going to go back to uncertainty. We're going to learn, take a class. All right, I want to go. I want to go spend a year in Argentina. The first step might be you might want to learn some Spanish.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you have this tool of Spanish where all of a sudden
Yeah.
gates open to the dream that you're dreaming.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's
Yeah.
like, okay, now I just bought my plane ticket to Argentina. Here we go. I'm on my way. But there's that moment of that radical yes. But then
Mm-hmm.
okay, that first step, I'm on the diving board, about to jump off. I'm in the airplane, about to jump out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to move from all of my self-sabotage into self-love.
Yeah.
That jump is just as big as any other,
Absolutely.
as any other. So
Yeah.
the bravery, the vulnerability piece to realize like
Yeah.
the caterpillar climbing on the branch goes into the cocoon, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and when the caterpillar is in the cocoon, there is a transformation going on. Very much like us, when we go from
Right.
comfortable to an opportunity to change, I'm now uncomfortable. Source God
Yeah.
is saying, okay, well, that was nice and all, but you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then we can either go down into the valley of suffering to, and sometimes we stay there a long time, and sometimes that can be a really long fall for some of us where we lose
Yeah.
all. But then there's that moment, the switchcraft moment. I'm no longer running away. I am running toward. And then we start to come out. And this is
Right.
the moment that the caterpillar in the chrysalis finally says, okay, I'm going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come out. Here I come. And here we zip. Then, if you snip the chrysalis before, then goop comes out.
Mm-hmm.
We have to marinate too.
Yeah.
We have to do that same journey inside, that slow down to speed up, that slow down to go fast.
Oh yeah.
We
Oh
have we
yeah.
get to do it too. And then when all
Have
of a
to.
sudden we come out, transformation installed, new information, new insight and motivation, new connection to source, new clarity of our new path.
Yeah.
Our wings are still wet, still not ready to fly. Even though
Mm-hmm.
we're on the branch, flapping them and drying them, and we're in our new body, we're in our new,
Yeah.
but that's vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
If I can't fly, somebody can come along and another thing and eat me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then we're afraid again. But now, hopefully, that new fear, the new definition of fear is okay, now I'm going to learn how to be in these wings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
We move on.
Yeah.
Then we
And
get
yeah.
then we get to comfortable. We master the wings. And then we have another moment of comfortable. And then we go through the cycle again.
Mm-hmm.
We do it over and
Yeah.
over and
Over and
over
over and over.
and
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. And it's the embracing that we get to do it over and over,
Yeah.
and not seeing any of that as a negative or a waste. Because sometimes people get to that space where then the life they wanted, right? That first step of creation where you found your juice and you were like, oh, I can do this, and you found your power. And then you recognize, oh, this was beautiful living in this, right? And then you get to this other space and it says, oh, that's not it anymore either. And now you have to do it again. If
Mhm.
you find yourself there, don't discount everything that was, because that was the juice and the foundation and the source and the everything for you to get now to this new, for you to do it again, because you're bringing all that with you, right? And we're not starting from scratch again. We're starting from all of this information that we now have internalized and become, but we create again. So keep creating, right? Because there's so much
Yeah.
beauty in creating.
Well, I think you're onto something right there as we begin to wrap up our time together today, Natalie, that one of the things that I believe to be true with every bit of me is that every one of us are conscious creators. We might be unconscious in our conscious creating. I would say that that's part of our wake up call. That's part of why we're here.
Yeah.
Being a spirit, having a human experience, is that we do come here to forget so that we can be on the road to remembering who we really are.
Hmm.
And I believe that, we create with every thought that we think. Every single one of us is already a masterful creator. Every single one
Yep.
of us is already a masterful manifester. But how far into our forgetting are we? Are we telling
Mm.
the story of what we're running away from in such a way that we can tell the horrors and the difficulties of our society and our culture and our own life in such vivid detail that it becomes visceral and real? But can you, with just as much power and just as much vigor and life and detail and color, talk about the dream you're making, about the life that you're heading into?
Yeah.
I think that's, we've talked a little bit about dreaming about the uncertainty piece. What are you dreaming about? Have you done your dream work about your future? What could possibly be more important than dreaming about your future? We manifest exactly what we think about. We are made in God's image. We are creators like God
Hmm.
because we manifest what has our attention. And most of us are taught by living example of our culture to focus on lack, scarcity, pain, suffering, Like so many of us, like to use a Christian metaphor, don't be the shepherd, be the sheep.
Mm-hmm.
And what does this do? This is not a bad thing. This is just part of our culture, but that keeps us being guilty and giving other people our power.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's the moment we wake up and say, wait a minute, I have that power. That is within me. Just like you said yourself, all right, God, show me who you really are. I'm going to leave the nest of my parents' ways, thoughts, modalities, and philosophies of the world and go test it and stand here on my own
Mm-hmm.
and claim it in my new understanding of my relationship here is that I'm going
Yeah.
to take my place at the table. I love that phrase, take my place at the table.
Yeah.
The food
Yeah.
metaphor when we first started about coming together,
Right.
sharing the table, and that's what we do here. And so when fear, uncertainty, and doubt comes knocking, you know, welcome them in, give them a place at the table, and give them the good wine and the good cheese, and ask them why they have
Yes.
come. They have a
Yes.
gift. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Natalie, what a treat to be with you today.
Oh, thank you.
Tell us a little bit about, as we wrap up our time, how do people find you? Like out there in the audience, like I'm a coach, Natalie's a coach, we're here in service to people just like you. And if you're resonating with Natalie's work or maybe what I'm saying, you're going to find the links to get us here. But Natalie, how do people find you?
So my website is natalielamb.me, where you can find me if you want to book a session. Like I'm available there, but you also see my books, the Wisdom Chronicles, Open Your Eyes, and What I Want You to Know. Just books of wisdoms that open you up to see life in a different perspective, different things for you to try on as you kind of maneuver through life and take on new ideas is what the books are there to offer you. I have digital courses. I have a free one that everybody can grab called How to Be a Better Human. And that are just 5 simple steps in us just becoming better people to each other, to ourselves, for society. I think it's a really beautiful space for us as we create, as we dream, that we also add in being better people to each other, because we operate and coexist in this world. And if we can just be a little kinder, a little more gentle, a little more empathetic, I think we can get much further than being the opposite of that. So those are there to offer you. So Facebook, Instagram, it's your choice, the business name. You can find me there. So hopefully I will hear from you guys.
Oh, so sweet. Well, Natalie, it's been a pleasure when we first met a couple of weeks ago, we've had a couple of chats since then. And of course, the energy that we've created today, I think I've made a friend with you. Yeah.
I agree.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thanks everybody out there. Natalie Lamb, everybody, coach, relationships, grief, humanity, the
Humanity.
walk of the tender-hearted warrior. Those are my words, but that's what we are. Every
That's
single
what we
one of us,
are.
tender-hearted warrior. Well, everybody out there, thank you so much. I'm Coach Cory Threewing, and you can find me at CoryTimeCoaching.com. You'll also see all of these links that we talked about in the show notes today. Natalie, thank you so much for coming on Fear to Freedom, one story at a time, and sharing your story.
Thank you, Cory. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, everybody out there, stay tuned. You'll find us in all of the sweet spots. More time with you, please. Take care.